This is how we got 115 leads for our real estate clients in the past 30 days. Hi, my name is Pedro Millan. I literally own 2 social media marketing agencies that make multiple 6 figures every single year. We have literally more than 68 million views in the past 2 years that we've been running. On top of that, we have more than 100 appointments booked for our clients overall, and we actually ran a campaign that actually won a Grammy in 2025. Not trying to sell you anything, just want to help you guys make better decisions as social media marketing agencies. Anyway, so more so than anything else, I want to talk about the main thing that a lot of people have a lot of issues with as far as developing an SMMA. And that's essentially getting leads for your clients because of the fact that you don't know how to run ads on Facebook or wherever it is that you're trying to basically run your ads on. So my main promise on this video is that I'm going to give you a step-by-step breakdown on how this actually happened, the thought process behind the campaigns, the ad sets, and the copy, so that way you can actually make better decisions for you and for your clients so you can get more money today, not tomorrow. Anyway, let's get into it. So the context of the campaign was that it was for real estate agents that were out in California, right? So roughly Los Angeles, California. So literally a high touch market, if you would say. So essentially the date was essentially looking back at a strong month for real estate overall, being roughly within, I would say, November going into December of last year, because of the fact that like most people actually try to buy in the winter months, so that way they can avoid high interest rates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or a high high house prices, if that makes sense, especially in a place like Los Angeles. So the timeline roughly in which that we did this was roughly 2 months to about 2.5 months with the specific client, more so than anything else. And then we used phase 2, which is essentially split testing copies of the exact same ad that was doing already really great. So the key lesson here is that wins don't necessarily come through the first week. They usually come around like month 2, month 2.5 of testing before a big breakthrough happens. So overall, this is our basic split testing framework in our Facebook ad agency, more so than anything else. You can do this on YouTube as well. We just happen to do this specific campaign on Facebook. So phase 1 is essentially using proven creatives and proven primary text with a proven headline. Why do I say that? And how do we determine those? Is literally either organic content or via stuff that we've already seen online that we just basically reverse engineered. So let's say, for example, proven creatives would essentially be a video of theirs that actually went viral, or a video that we happen to see in specific niche in the same specific area, being Los Angeles, that actually did well, and then using the proven primary text that's used on that specific ad or organic piece of content, and the headline or the hook that was basically used on those ad creatives overall. Then from there, we spend roughly around like $20 to $50 around ad sets. And we wanted to identify which creatives actually pulled the best CTR, being your click-through rate and cost per lead, right? Then phase 2, which is roughly around month 1, the end of month 1 going into month 2, which is essentially keep the winning creative and use the same headline and offers, but you're testing multiple primary texts, essentially different copy angles, right? Because the only thing that should be changing, especially once you get a really good click-through rate and a really good cost per lead in this context, should be, what does the lead form look like? What does the primary text look like? Because more so than anything else, if anybody's not watching the video, they're probably reading the text, right? Or at least the headline, right? And then phase 3 comes, once the text wins, we use different headlines and different offers on that combo, right? And then, which is roughly by month 2, I would say. And this is phase 4, which is by the end of that campaign being at month 2.5, was essentially testing targeting changes like radius, like interest, like age range if needed. And specifically in the real estate niche, you don't have that option because you have special categorizations, ad categorizations like politics, real estate, and whatever. So it roughly limits your reach. However, you can still add interest later depending on what the ad campaign is actually catered for. But going into literally the next thing, which is essentially the ads manager breakdown, right? This is the winning setup. More so than anything else, your budget has to be at least minimum $20, right? Which is essentially a $600 a month cost to acquire a client, essentially your CAC, your CAC, right? So the structure that we had was essentially a 4 ad set folder at $5 a day using the same collage of creatives across all ads. And then phase 1 showed that this collage had the best CTR more so than anything else. So we locked it in, right? In phase 2, which is essentially what I've told you, like after the first month, we kept the creative constant. Like literally it was the same. The only thing that we tested was variations of the copy, the ad copy. As far as the performance, was the CPLs, like the cost per lead, was roughly in the $3.60 range to like about $7.28 range, which is actually great. And the click-through rate was literally across the board above 4 to 5, even sometimes 10 to 11%, right? So for example, it'd be like a copy of one of our ads would have been like, attention LA residents, this, that, and the third, or literally a call out, or a custom list of homes offer being like, this is a community that we're basically offering. They're literally giving you these incentives, blah, blah, blah. You're essentially putting in the ad copy that you are talking to the renters about either any of the pain points that they have on a consistent basis, especially in a high market like Los Angeles, like saving money versus or paying for somebody else's mortgage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you basically ask them to push to fill the survey before they get to any other information like a tailored home list. Reason being is because we want to make sure that we get their information on the case that they don't do anything and we can actually reach out to them in general. So the results of that specific ad overall led to 115 leads in that month. We spent roughly around $523. Our average cost per lead was roughly in between $3.96 to about $4.73. The click-through rate was roughly 8%, more so than anything else, which is absolutely amazing. The impressions were over 62,000 people, and we actually reached more than 19,000 accounts, which is awesome. So the takeaway was essentially that we want to make sure that our copy plus a proven creative combo is our main driver more so than anything else. Because at the end of the day, it's just like, those are the two things that matter. And the variations that we can basically apply to those ads on a consistent basis as time goes on, the quicker we can actually see a result. But as far as the back end, and the automation, which is more Zach speed because that's how he handles our stuff in our business, right? Essentially adding a Facebook instant form, like a lead form, including the name, email, and phone. But the phone is a requirement, not optional, because more often than not, you get on Facebook, they have Facebook leads and whatnot, or Facebook lead forms, and the phone is usually checked as optional. So you have to make sure that that's actually not checked. And then after that, the automation steps would essentially go from trigger on form form submission, right? Then you create an opportunity into a pipeline. Then you notify the agent based upon that specific automation, which you can either do with Go High Level or Zapier. If you want to learn how to do that, click at the first link in the description, and we basically have a community and all this other stuff that we can basically show you how to do that. Then you send the initial greeting message via SMS, or SMS or email, actually. Then you push to fill the survey so they can qualify themselves, and then they basically get follow-up texts and emails checking in, reminding them, and they push to book an appointment, right? So essentially the pipeline view is a buyer-seller pipeline for real estate agents more so than anything else would be dependent on where they are in the transaction as far as like, what is their qualifications, which is set up in the lead form, or like where are they trying to go, specifically in Los Angeles or out Los Angeles or any high market or any low niche market, and making sure that all your conversations are centralized in Go High Level. I cannot stress that enough, mainly because of the fact that we want to make sure that we have all of our leads in one place, especially for our clients. So that way we can actually tell them like, hey, we actually got you like 115 clients. You can't really say anything to us at all. So just to recap, this essentially took 2.5 months of split testing, not 2 weeks. Most people literally said like, we got these amount of leads in freaking a month and this, that, and the third. That's great. They might be lying to you. I'm not gonna hold you. It takes time to figure this stuff out. Split testing does take time. So we did this in less than 3 months, literally within 2.5 months, but not 2 weeks, okay? Then we made this phase-based split testing based on the winning creative and the winning copy. The first thing that needed to win was the creative. Once that won, we basically decked out the variations of the copy. Once the copy was changed and we found a winner, we basically locked into it. And then from there, we literally just made multiple versions of that winning specific copy. Next thing is we had a strong automation foundation. So like automation foundation. Bars. Anyway, where in Go High Level, it was actually attached to our Facebook, so then we can literally actually monitor everything and basically send notifications to our client, and we could nurture and convert leads more so than anything else. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you happen to like the video, or if you have any more questions about how we basically did this overall, or maybe even the GHL setup, or anything that had to do with any of these things, or the campaigns that we actually do for our clients on the Facebook ad agency, then basically hit us down in the comments. Otherwise, like and subscribe to the channel, because we try to put videos like this every single day and you don't want to miss them. Other than that, if you're really trying to get into SMMA, and literally make a 6-figure income, and literally change your life forever in less than 90 days, basically do that through our community, through our course, through our coaching program. Just click the first link in the description. We'd love to see you there and talk to you. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.